Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and welcome to another episode of Newsround for Anfield Index. It is Tuesday, the 29th of July. We are nearly in August. There's still a fair few things to happen. There's Liverpool ticket sales. If you're queuing for those, best of luck with your seats or where you're trying to get this morning going forward. And at the same time, there will be incomings and outgoings. There will be developments. There will be a game against Yokohama, which takes place tomorrow on the 30th at 11:30 a.m. British time. So we have got plenty to talk about, ladies and gents. I'm your normal host, Dave Davis, coming to you from, it's absolutely glorious here in Edinburgh. I'm not even going to pretend. The sun is shining already. Hopefully, wherever you are in the world, it's exactly the same as well. But let's get into it, shall we? What is going on with Liverpool? What are the best things to reference? Well, look at that on the screen right now, ladies and gents. Absolutely brilliant news for a few reasons. The latest inside training video was out. So you can see Liverpool there doing their bits. And the two people in for all the best possible reasons. Hugo Ekitike, number one, was absolutely banging them in training. Yes, it's training and yes, it's all that. And it doesn't mean anything. I understand all that. But it's always good by the sounds of it to see a new boy settle so quickly. The second thing as well in the photo, look who is back on that training pitch. Yes, indeed, Alexis Mac Allister. We'd seen him before doing, there was individual sessions, wasn't it, on his own, doing little bits, but now back training with the team. Now, you'll see the quotes from Alexis Mac Allister as well going out. You may have read them already, who knows, but throughout the day, saying that he knows it's going to take a bit of time for him to get back up to the level and his teammates will be ahead of him, but he's looking forward to part of success. And at the same time, the reason we're looking forward to part of this process is ultimately, well, he's our best midfielder, isn't he? He's one of our world-class talents. So the quicker we can get Alexis Mac Allister back onto that pitch and up to the level, if that's the right phrase, with his teammates, the better. I mean, it's quite important because you almost forget on the opening day, Bournemouth, that Friday night, Ryan Gravenberch suspended. So you'd want Alexis Mac Allister well up to speed in the next few weeks, wouldn't you? Because that's been mostly, the double pivot. And again, we're not going to get into will it be a new formation and all those bits this season. But just the fact Alexis Mac Allister is back in full training, Hugo Ekitike is banging in a few goals, the world is a good place. This story as well came out early this morning. Alisson Becker has given permission to leave the LFC tour of Asia due to a personal matter. So we've no idea. No one should be making any inquiries when it's a personal matter like this of what it relates to. But all we can do as ever is pass on everyone's well wishes to the Becker family. The report from Jace Pearce and others does also say, though, that Alisson will link back up with the squad in the UK. It's not actually that long till the double game, isn't it? Bilbao will play in twice on that Sunday as well. I think many have also got tickets for that, I know, going down. So, yeah, fingers crossed, all okay with Alisson Becker and his family. So those are the sort of main things from the tour. You've also got a few other bits of footage if you want to watch it, because the training, in Tokyo was open to the public. So there was people filming the set pieces. Endo was doing long throws. There's all various bits you can watch on that, ladies and gents. Naturally, what's going on in the world of transfers for Liverpool? Well, there's only two real places to start, really. Everyone knows about Luis Diaz. Everyone knows Liverpool have agreed that fee with Bayern Munich, 75 million euros, which translates about £65.5 million for Luis Diaz, and that he left Liverpool's camp in Japan yesterday. Well, as of this morning, he arrived. I'm sure you've probably seen it, possibly, I don't know. But he's arrived in Munich. He's already at the Bayern complex. So his medical will take place today. So maybe later today, but as the reports from Germany suggest, more likely tomorrow, Luis Diaz will be confirmed as a Bayern Munich player. At which point, Liverpool's coffers will be swelled by 65.5 million quid. Now, where's that money going? I think we've all got a semblance around Alexander Isak. If we're deadly and completely honest, we didn't really get any developments yesterday, did we? There was no bomber, there was no transfer request, there was no offer put in, but I don't think anyone really expected it. It's just a waiting game almost for the inevitable right now. Eddie Howe this morning, because obviously Newcastle are on a tour of Singapore, and we're just, when I've seen the footage, looking a bit gloomy all around and almost trying to avoid knowing these questions were coming, but was asked about the Alexander Isak situation, said it remains completely unchanged for the weekend. He was then pressed a bit on, his thoughts on Alexander Isak. And as it says on the screen, Eddie Howe was quite honest, saying he is still our player. He's contracted to us. We, to a degree, control what is next for him. I would love to believe all possibilities are still available to us. My wish is that he stays, but that's not in my full control. I mean, the change in language, the change in tone from not for sale, no chance whatsoever, contract with us, etc., earlier, sort of into late last season and earlier in this window, are completely different now, aren't they, people? Let's be honest. It is really night and day there. Even to talk about he's contracted to us, and to a degree we control. And I get why he's saying that, to be fair to Eddie Howe. He's saying it because Alexander Isak and his agent have been crystal clear with Newcastle that they want the move to Liverpool. They told them clearly that they're not interested in 600,000 a week or whatever it is from Saudi. They're not interested in a move to Chelsea, United, Arsenal, anywhere else. It is Liverpool that they've picked. And as we know, Liverpool set to be swelled by these funds from Luis Diaz. Not that they're definitively needed, as many people have said around FFP, PSR. Liverpool could afford the fee, but it's all just a waiting game now, isn't it? And the only other thing that, I don't know, disappointing is the wrong word, but Eddie Howe was never going to talk about other names and other targets, but it's naturally in this chain linked to Visser at Brentford, isn't it, who Newcastle are trying to sign, and ultimately Benjamin Sesko at Red Bull Leipzig, who Newcastle are looking to bring in to naturally, let's be honest, be the replacement for Alexander Isak. So yeah, we'll see if we get any developments today. It's going to be one of those just randomly that the bid will just drop or it'll break from Ornstein, Joyce, etc. Now they're all back at a random day at a random time. So we'll see what happens there. In terms of other attackers, this is a name that won't go away. Rodrygo, the Real Madrid attacker, Brazilian international. Now, Spurs were mooted yesterday, weren't they, talking about how there was quite a few reports that they were prepared to sort of offer the big wages for Rodrigo or match a high transfer fee. However, all the reports now, and you can shout me if you want, Tottenham fans, but seem to be that not the case. Rodrigo is not interested in a move to Tottenham because, as quite a few reports coming out of Spain are suggesting today, Rodrigo is ultimately keen on a move to, you guessed it, Anfield and Liverpool, as I think we already knew. Now, that sounds all well and good, all great. However, there's a couple of things to this. We mentioned it on the transfer show when me and Trev were talking. The initial demands from Rodrigo and his agent, Pini Zahavi, had just kiboshed this deal that they'd been asking for €400, so translating around 300 grand a week or so, a bit more, as a basic. we know we only pay those types of wages to a Van Dijk, a Salah and Alisson. So that's never going to happen. Obviously, the transfer fee as well, when you put it all together, it's supremely pricey. So as it stands right now, the chances of Rodrigo heading to Liverpool are small. That is unless, as a few suggested, he will reduce his demands. Real Madrid might reduce the price, or as a few have been alluding to or suggesting, maybe a loan with an option is possible. Who knows? But this is almost in the unlikely, but you cannot rule Rodrigo out of a move to Liverpool just now. But something big, especially in terms of money, has got to change in a reduction sense. So we'll see if anything develops there. There's also a few links still coming up with Malik Fofana, who, we enjoy saying this, has turned down a move to Everton, hasn't he? Saying that, with the Champions League club's interest. And again, I think this is amazing to say. You're talking about 3 attackers there. They all want Liverpool. Alexander Isak, who's been the top target along with Florian Wirtz this summer, wants Liverpool. Rodrygo wants Liverpool. Fofana wants Liverpool. This is just, it's an unprecedented time to be a Red, isn't it? It really is, people. I mean, a couple of other things to mention at the same time as well. Keep an eye on Ademola Lookman. He's currently at Atalanta, isn't he? Inter Milan were quite expressive the other day to say, we're going to try for him, but in a few days, if we don't, we'll move on. You're thinking, why are we talking about Ademola Lookman? Because as various reports coming out of Italy suggest, once, and Paul Joyce actually had this yesterday as well, if Inter are successful in the chase for Ademola Lookman, Federico Chiesa is the anointed replacement, which would be a bit gutting, wouldn't it? Because that would be, as I said yesterday, 2 bangers gone in the summer of tunes anyway. So, yeah, we'll wait and see if that develops. We'll wait and see if Tottenham have real interest in Harvey Elliott. We'll wait and see if any bid of real note from Saudi will ever actually come. Darwin Núñez will be interested in it. You do feel that for the departures, if, and it's touch wood if, it's not guaranteed, Alexander Isak does arrive at Anfield, a few players there that we've mentioned will look around that change room and think, this is it for me. I do need to move as quickly as possible. But we'll see. Things that have still got to unfold. In terms of centre-backs, that's an important one because we know Joe Gomez is back on Merseyside with an injury, so he's left the Far East tour. Mark Guehi still being mentioned, even in a few things that I've seen this morning. But one thing to say is Anfield Index, and got it sort of trebly sourced for one name because you always want it corroborated rather than just being told something. 2 new centre-halves who Liverpool have spoken to their agents, their representatives, which, when you say it, isn't the biggest development in the world because, just to be clear, Liverpool have spoken to a lot of people this summer. It has been unprecedented in that sense as well, the amount of communication, the groundwork that the relevant teams have done. But recently, Liverpool have spoken again to a couple of defenders, a couple of players that can play at centre-back. So we'll be talking about those names on the transfer show, I think tonight, might be tomorrow. Just got to make sure mine and Trev's calendars align completely, don't we? So fingers crossed that will be the case. Other than that, ladies and gents, a little bit like you, I'll be watching, because it's early doors, so I'll be watching a bit more of the footage from training, seeing if anything you can function from that. We'll be waiting further news, further developments. We'll all be in this place of, do we think there is actually going to be serious developments today? I mean, the most serious right now is Luis Diaz. He's having his medical at Bayern Munich as we speak. But in terms of further incomings, will an official bid get lodged? Even, we're being honest, we're just keeping an eye on Newcastle news, because to hear that Benjamin Sesko had accepted the move to St James's Park, that would be the next, what you call it, domino in sequence falling, wouldn't it? So we are waiting for various things like that. Attackers, defenders, training footage. There's just 1,000,001 things going on in the world of Liverpool right now, isn't there? But on Tuesday, the 29th of July, that was another news round for Anfield